Namaste. Welcome to your mats. This yoga practice is brought to you by Purple and myself. My name is Ivory Jenkins, and I am a yoga teacher located in Los Angeles, California. And tonight, if you are practicing at night, we are going to work on the hips. The hips, and invariably when you work on the hips, it creates some space in your low back. So hips, low back. If you happen to be seated for most of your day, or maybe you were even on your feet for a long part of the day, and you just feel that there's some stagnation in that area, we're going to work some of that stagnation out. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. You will need two props. I have a set of yoga blocks here. If you don't have yoga blocks, don't stress about it. You can use a big sturdy book. You could also just make sure there's some pillows around so that you've got something supportive nearby. Put your blocks or your props just off to the side so they're on the ready, but they're not in the way. And then the other prop you'll need is a eye mask, eye pillow if you have one. And if you don't, just grab a towel, a washcloth from the bathroom. The one I have here is the weighted sleep mask by Purple. It's really awesome, but whatever you have at home will be fine, even if it's a t-shirt to put over your eyes, okay? Make it work. All right, so let's start on our backs. So gently lay on your backs. And let's start with the soles of the feet onto the floor. And you'll open the soles of your feet a little wider than your hips, perhaps even as wide as your mat. And then just let your knees knock in towards one another. Make sure that you've got a nice curve underneath your low back. You've also got a nice curve under your neck. And your gaze, your chin, your nose is pointing to the sky. And we'll place one hand on our bellies and then the other hand at your top chest. Let the elbows weight down, touch the floor. You can rock your head from side to side a couple times just to find the very center of the back of your skull and land right there down the midline. If it feels okay, you can close your eyes. If not, just soften your gaze so you start to shift from whatever's happening externally to the space that lives on the inside. Let out a long exhale here. Once you get to the bottom, take a deep breath in, into the hand at the belly. And then let the breath rise all the way up to the hand at the chest. You're full of breath. Open the mouth and let out an easy sigh. And then do that 2 more times. Inhale into your belly, ribs and chest. And then open the mouth and exhale, let that breath go. Once more. Biggest breath you've taken all day. Inhale for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. One more sip of air. Go ahead, be greedy, grab in a lot more. And then exhale, let it go. Nice. Come back to a normal rhythm of breath. Seal your lips and see if the breath can stay coming in and out through just the nostrils. Yogis believe that the nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating. So we'll have all the breath, as best we can, come in and out of the nose. So from here, let's draw the right knee into your chest. And extend the left leg out long. Good. And then you're going to open the knee slightly to the right so you can really draw it in towards your armpit. And so you've got deep flexion at your hip here, and then lots of extension at the top of your left thigh. From here, you'll grab the knee, the shin, only with the right arm. Left hand can go out to the side just for balance. And you're going to start to make some circles of your femur bone in your hip socket. So this is a ball and socket joint at your hip. So basically what you're doing is you're taking that ball and rotating around in the socket. Go the opposite direction. And think you want to get all parts of the socket. We'll do one more in this direction. And then pause down the midline. Let's bring the left hand back into action. You're going to extend your right leg up and interlace your hands and place them behind the meatiest part of your thigh. Okay, if this is already too much, like you're pretty tight in your hamstrings, what you can do is bend your left knee, and that'll give you just more playroom with bringing that leg towards you. Those of you who feel like you've got a little more space, a little more flexibility, you can keep the left leg straight. So easiest way will be the hand behind the thigh. Those of you who want more, you could take the hand behind your calf muscle. If you have a lot of mobility in this direction, then you can take the hand closer towards the Achilles tendon. Okay, but wherever you are, there you are. No big deal whether you're high, medium, or low. I'm going to take my hands back to my thigh. And then you guys kick your heel forward and pull your toes back to your face, especially that pinky toe side of the foot. And what you'll feel is a stretch at the whole back of your leg. Some of you might feel it really intense at your hamstrings. Some of you may even feel it in your calf muscle. Okay? Let your elbows just hang. The biceps will engage to pull that leg closer towards you. You'll try to keep the leg as straight as you can, but if it bends a little, not a big deal. I'm going to move my hand up to my calf muscle just because I want a little more. Make sure you're breathing, you guys. Lips sealed, breath in and out through the nose. Let's take one more breath in this shape. And then listen up, keep the leg where it is, but I want you to have a tug of war with your hands and your leg. So your leg is going to kick into your hands, almost like it wants to move away from you, but your hands are pulling the leg towards you. Okay, so you'll feel the hamstrings actually turn on and activate, but they're in a lengthened position, which will give you quite a bit of sensation at the back of your hamstrings if you're not already feeling that. And if you're not feeling it, kick more, like really kick that hamstring forward, like it wants to break through the hands. And we'll do this, you guys, at like 80 or 90% of your effort. So really go for it. Yeah, and hold that. It's an isometric contraction. You're holding it for 5. For 4, really kick for 3, do it like you mean it for 2, 1 more, and then listen up, go passive again, just pull that leg closer to you. And what you might have found is after activating the hamstring in lengthened position, that when you let it go passive in the lengthened position, you get more juice out of it, you get more of a stretch. Let's rebend this knee, give it a hug. And then just an easy twist because it feels good. So let the knee fall across your body. Right arm goes out to the side in a T shape. If you let the knee fall all the way down, the shoulder blade might lift off the mat, and that's fine. You could also keep the shoulder blade down and let the knee lift off. One more breath. And then we'll meet back in the center. Both feet flat onto the floor. Just lift the hips up and down slightly so you can get your pelvis back on straight, your spine back on straight. And then we'll switch to the other side. Left knee comes in, interlace the fingers around your shin, right leg long. Open the leg to the left, just maybe 10 degrees or so, and then that'll give you more room to pull the knee closer. Okay, now my right hand is going to go out to the side for leverage as I begin to circle the left femur bone in its socket 3 times counterclockwise and then 3 times clockwise. Try to get all sides. One more circle and then pause down the midline. Good. From here, interlace fingers right behind your thigh. Good. And you can keep your hand here. I do want you to try to extend your left leg as much as you can. That means straighten it as much as you can. Right? And if it doesn't straighten all the way, no worries. Those of you who want more, a hand can come higher to the calf muscle. If you want even more, reach it higher. Right? And then your elbows bend so that the shoulders aren't up to the ears. And the elbows are bending, the biceps are pulling that leg a little closer. Like I said, I'm going to move my hands back down to the lower position so I can really work on getting my legs straight. There's a little bit of internal rotation of this right leg, yep, so that it's neutral as you pull the left leg towards you. And then breathe. See if you can negotiate the posture with your breath. repeated inhales. On the exhales, maybe the leg comes a little closer to you. I'm going to move my hand up a little higher. And now we're going to take that isometric contraction we did on side A. So what you're going to do is almost try to break the leg through the grip of the hands. Okay, so the leg is moving forward, but you're pulling that leg in close. And it's really a tie between the two as the leg moves forward and the hands pull back. Let's go for 5. 80 to 90% of your effort for 4. For 3, really do it. Press that calf muscle forward for 2, for 1, and then go passive. Pull the leg in a little closer. You might find that you do get more range of motion. And then re-bend your left knee. Whew. And then go ahead for an easy twist. So you guys, sometimes our hamstrings get tight. And when our hamstrings get tight, it pulls on the low back. And it can cause some low back discomfort. So it's nice to stretch the hamstrings when you are having low back problems, and hopefully that'll clear up some of it. Come back to the center. Good. And then you'll pull both knees into your chest, hug them, and just roll over right or left, whichever makes sense for you, and we'll make our way onto all fours. Okay, so all fours, just a couple rounds of cat and cow because it always feels good. Inhale is the cow, you look up, let your belly spill. And then exhale is the cat. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 1 more, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Come back to that cow shape. And then from here, curl your toes under. You're going to lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. Keep a soft bend in your knees. Widen your hands a bit. And then with the knees bent, really stick your butt up towards the sky. Press your mat away. Lengthen through the sides of your waist. Get really long. And we already stretched out the hamstrings quite a bit, so perhaps for some of you, you can try to straighten the backs of your knees. Any amount is a good amount. They don't have to straighten all the way. In fact, for most of us, they will not straighten all the way. Let your head hang, see your feet. Take 1 more breath here. If you want to pedal it out or do any kind of dance that you like to do, go for it. And then we'll bring both of the feet together, so it's almost like 2 legs become 1. Let's lift the right leg up just a little bit. And then you'll step the right foot in between the 2 hands. Okay? And then this is where your blocks might come in handy. You can bring them to frame your front foot. I'm going to put mine on their highest levels. And we'll just take an easy lunge, okay? So it's almost like you want to move your heart through your arms, bend deeply into this front knee. Some of you, if you need a blanket underneath your back knee because it's tender, please grab that. And then come on your fingertips and just start to pull your heart through. It's like you're doing an upward facing dog or a cobra. 1 more deep breath in. Tuck your tailbone a little so you get a stretch for your left psoas. And then from here, hands still on the block, you're going to straighten your front leg, flex your toes, pull them back to your face. You might need to walk the blocks back. And then keep a little bend in your right knee and reach your heart forward to your toes, and you'll feel that hamstring stretch once again. There's a bit of scissoring action in your legs, right hip back, left hip forward. Some of you may be able to bring your blocks down to lower levels because you can bend over a little deeper. We'll do 1 more breath here. And then let's go dynamically in between those 2 spaces. So inhale, bend, come on the fingertips, let your heart move forward. And then exhale, straighten the front leg as much as it'll go on your body. Fold over. Twice more. Inhale, come forward. And then exhale, pull back. 1 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, pull back. Come back into your lunge. And then from here, you can move the blocks off to the side, and you're going to open your right foot way to the right side of your mat. Okay, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Now I've got both hands to the inside of my right foot. If you can't reach the floor, you guys put those blocks underneath the hands. Okay, and then from here, pick your toes up, turn them to the right, let's say about 20 or 30 degrees. Your knee is following in the same trajectory as your toes. And then from here, I'm going to sink into this posture a little more. So some of you might come forearms onto your blocks. Some of you might come forearms all the way down onto the earth. Some of you might set your blocks up so that your forehead has something to rest on. You can kind of play Tetris with your props and with your hands and your arms, just to make this supportive for you. And we're going to stay here for about 8 breaths. We call this the lizard pose. Sometimes I like to rock from side to side. Some of you might feel this in your right inner groin. Some of you may feel it more at the top of your left thigh. So just check in, where are you feeling it? You're already halfway there, 4 more breaths. You could lift your right big toe up and really roll to the outside edge of the foot. 1 more deep breath in. Good. And then on your exhale, let's come to your palms again, if you did go down to your elbows. I'm going to actually move the blocks off to the side. And I'm going to open my left hand to the left pretty wide. Lean on that left hand. And then take your right hand to the top portion of your right thigh, your right inner groin. And what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm rolling onto the outside edge of this foot. Be gentle with this. But I'm going to press my right thigh open. I'm going to like wrap it open and also press it away from me. So there's a traction feeling of your femur bone, that's your thigh bone, moving out of your hip socket and just creating some space there. Okay, we'll just take 1 more breath here. There's a sense of you pushing very gently but firmly. And then take the sole of that right foot back to the floor. Okay, from here we're going to circle this right arm up, around, and back. We'll do that 2 more times. Big circle. 1 more. Reach back and then connect the hand with the foot. Ooh, this one's always really tight for me. Okay, if that's the case for you, you can always put a block underneath your left hand just to bring the floor to you. Makes it a little easier. So tuck your tailbone under pretty strongly, and when you do that, you get some nice feedback at the top of the left thigh. And then bend your right elbow and you'll start to pull. Eek. Good, keep pulling. We'll do this for 3. We'll do it for 2. Listen up, you guys. From here, just like we did with the hamstring, I want you to do an isometric contraction by kicking the foot into this hand, but the hand is still pulling the foot back. Okay, so it's a tug of war with your hand and your foot. And then let's do that for 5. For 4, 80 to 90% of your effort, kick that foot. Now keep pulling the hand back though. Last 1. And then as you release, go passive and try to pull the heel a little closer to the butt. And release. Whew. Both hands come back to the mat. Listen up, you guys. From here, you're going to heel toe your right foot over 1, 2, 3, 4 times until it goes to your left hand. And then drop your right shin down to the floor. Okay? Some of you might want to wedge a pillow or a blanket between this space if there's a lot of space. Okay? But we're going to wiggle our hips down as close as they'll get to the floor. Let's start in an upright position. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward. Try to keep the length as you walk forward. Right, so try not to round down right away. See if you can find some length. And you want to lengthen into the pose. So let's say we go in stages. Each exhale taking us a little further. Maybe elbows come. And again, make the blocks work for you. I'm going to stack mine so that my forehead has something to rest on. And then we'll be here for 8 breaths, which is really about 1 minute. Notice if your mind has started to journey off onto what's for dinner, or what you got to do after this, or maybe whatever happened earlier today. See if you can stay here in the body. Stay with all the sensations that are coming up. Last 2 breaths. One more deep breath in. See if you can walk a little further forward. And breath out. Walk the hands back nice and slow. You'll lift up. Let's come to all 4s first. Oh, good. Take another round of cat and cow. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to the cow, curl the toes under, and downward facing dog. Exhale, lift it up and back. And then you can walk out your down dog. You'll feel one side that feels extremely different from the other. Let's even them out. Bring both feet together, lift the left leg up, and then step your left foot between your 2 hands to your left thumb tip. Right knee drops. Put a blanket underneath that right knee if you need. And then adjust your blocks if you do have them so that they frame your front foot. Fingertips on the block. I'm going to move my hips forward, pull my shoulders back. And it's almost like, imagine you had an S on your chest underneath your t-shirt and you were like Superman and you broke open your shirt and it's just your sternum, your heart shining forward. That's what you want to feel in this lunge. And then from here, let's take the opposite. Hands grab the blocks. You can pull the blocks back as you straighten your front leg. Your hips are stacking right over your back knee. Okay? Pull the pinky toes out of your foot back to your face, just like you did when we were on our backs with that hamstring stretch. You can bend your left knee, little scissoring action with your hips, left hip back, right hip forward. Some of you can come lower. Reach your heart forward, so don't round into this, you guys. Find the curves of your spine. That's going to make this stretch more interesting. We'll take 2 more breaths, maybe bending your elbows and draping over that front leg. 1 more breath. And then let's go dynamically. So inhale, pull the heart through. And then exhale, pull the heart back. We'll do 3 more. I like to do these sort of undulating movements. It feels like a massage for my body. So inhale forward, exhale back. And since all of my massage parlors are all closed, this is the closest that I'm getting to a massage. 1 more. And then we'll pause in the lunge. You can move your blocks out to the side. Widen your left foot to the left. Both hands go to the inside. Pick your left toes up. Turn them onto the diagonal. The knee faces. And then you'll lower yourself down. Any amount. Like I said, some of you can come straight down to the floor. Some of you might need blocks between you and the floor. You guys make sure there's no torquing on your knee. Okay? If it feels like pain, then you want to back out. If it feels like a stretch, then stay with it, but breathe through it. Okay, so we never do any of the postures in yoga without the breath. The breath is what guides us. The breath is what keeps our poses mindful and what keeps us present. Let's add on that extra stretch. So we'll come to the palms. Now I open my right hand out wide, almost as wide as the mat, so I can lean on that hand. And that gives me space to place my left hand on the thigh. And then I'm pressing the thigh away from me, but I'm also kind of externally rotating my femur bone in its socket. Stay with this 1 more breath. And then let it come back to the center. Keep this right hand where it is. Circle your left arm forward, up and around. 3 circles. Pause next time you reach back. Bend your back knee. So if you can't connect hand with the knee, you guys, no worries. Keep the foot on the floor and just reach back. You'll feel a stretch. If you can, connect hand with the foot. And then we'll be here for a couple breaths. pull. Bend the elbow, bring the heel closer to the butt. Make sure the butt's not sticking back this way, okay? I want you to bring the pelvis forward, away from the heel. Good. Now we're gonna go active. So kick the foot into the hand, but keep pulling with the hand, the foot towards the butt. But kick away and pull, and kick away and pull for 3. Do it like you mean it for 2, 90% of your effort for 1, and then go passive and just let the heel come a little closer if it will. Ooh, and release. That one always gets me. I forget what's next. Pigeon. Heel toe the right foot, the left foot all the way over to the right hand. That's what that pose does to me. It just leaves my whole mind blank. So coming into pigeon, again, stuff something underneath your left outer hip if you need. Reach those right toes back. Start on fingertips, so start upright. Inhale, pull the heart through. Exhale, stage 1, go long. And you could stay here. If you want more, stay long as you walk the hands forward. It's almost like your arms are in downward facing dog in the pigeon. Okay? When you can't reach any further, that's when you start to melt into it. That's when you can bend your elbows. That's when you can find your blocks and let your head rest down. And then we'll take about 8 more breaths here. See if you can, instead of doing the pose, do the breath. So loosen your grip on the pose, especially questions like, am I doing it right? Can I go further? Right? That sort of ambition that we bring into the other parts of our lives. Don't ambition this pose. Do it almost like you're lazy. Let yourself just flop into it. And then do the breath. Last 2 breaths. 1 more breath. And exhale. Slowly start to peel up. This time, yogis, we're going to swing your back leg forward. Okay? Ooh. Straighten both of the legs. And then just kind of shake the legs out. Good. So we're going to set ourselves up for our final pose, which is Shavasana. If you've got those 2 blocks, you're going to use them. You're going to place the blocks on your medium levels, and then have your mask or your towel or whatever it is nearby. Okay? I'm going to get you into the pose, and then I'm actually going to come out of it and talk you through what we'll do in the pose. So what you're going to do, you guys, is you'll lay down on your back. Watch first just so you can see where I'm going. And you'll place the soles of your feet together so they're touching. My knees open wide. Now my knees can open really wide, but I don't want them to open that wide because this isn't so much about a stretch. It's really more of a relaxation place. So I'm going to place these blocks right underneath my thighs. Okay, so my knees are higher than my hips. My pelvis is really restful. Okay, and my groins are really restful. And then you'll find a comfortable place for your hands. They can be anywhere you like them to be. Okay, so make your way into this shape. Again, you're on your back. Soles of the feet together, knees wide, and the blocks are supporting you. You guys, if you don't got blocks and you have some pillows, just slide those underneath. If you got a bolster, you can put it underneath your knees, okay? And then once you're here, 1 hand heart, 1 hand belly. Grab your eye mask if you haven't already, and you'll place that right over. And allow yourself to shut out any noise. So perhaps there's noise in your home. Perhaps there's noise outside of your home. Perhaps there's noise inside your head. That's okay. Try not to judge it. But we're just going to push it out. We're going to do an easy breath practice here to help us to relax. So let out a long exhale, and you'll feel your navel draw back to your spine at the bottom of that exhale. Stay there for a moment, empty, and then take a deep breath in, just like we did before. Inhale into the belly, the ribs, all the way into the chest. Pause at the top, listen up. You're going to take an SH sound on your exhale. Until all the air goes out. Pause on empty, and then do it again. Fill back up. Inhale. Think of the lowest part, and then the middle part, and then all the way up in the top chest. When you can't breathe in anymore, almost what you would do to a little baby when you're trying to get them to quiet. Do it again. Inhale, fill up. When you can't fill up anymore, let it go with a shh. It's a really, really soft, sweet hushing sound. Keep going. We'll do about 3 to 5 more rounds of this. And what you'll find is that SH sound lengthens your exhale. Almost double the amount of your inhale. And that exhale is it lets the nervous system know that it can slow down, it can calm down. You have 2 states that the nervous system can be in: fight or flight, or rest and digest. And we want to move ourselves out of fight or flight into rest and digest. And that exhale is a signal to your nervous system that it can move into that state. Take 2 more rounds of that shh sound at your own pace. One more. Once you finish your final one, seal the lips again and just let the breaths come in and out of your nostrils. Let your hands be anywhere you like them to be. And you've already calmed yourself. Like I said, just like you would a baby, a toddler that you're putting to sleep. And so allow yourself to soften and to deepen into this space. Let the back of your skull rest down deeply into whatever is connected, it's connected to: the floor, your pillow, your mat. Let your shoulder blades relax down your back, and those also get heavier. As well, the back of your pelvis gets heavy. Imagine that your body is on warm, wet sand. And you're just allowing your body to imprint into that sand. And any noises that are happening in your space, let them be. See if it can all be background noise. Very vibrant background noise. So yogis, I would love it if you stayed here longer. Maybe you've got another minute. Maybe you've got another 5 minutes. Maybe you've got 20. Stay. Allow your bodies the permission to rest. Thank you to each of you for joining me. Once again, my name is Ivory. Thank you to Purple for being our gracious hosts for this practice. Om Shanti. Peace, 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 and namaste. I'll see you all next time. Have a great night's sleep.